Been working on a nightmare of a project. Nightmare more so of dealing with the parts vendors. Hasn't been too bad, but in the middle of putting an undercarriage on the 943. Guess I'll do two different parts since I don't really have an editor and I'm really good with that. But I just wanted to share that with the rollers, I got lucky and all my bolts came out. I started off with the idler groups, and I started out with a 1/2 inch impact, and obviously it wouldn't break them loose. Then I went to a 3/4 drive, and out of the 24 bolts on the idler groups, it would only break 3 loose. And the biggest thing I was scared to death on this project was breaking bolts off. I did not want to be trying to get bolts out. So you can see the heat marks there. This is basically a hollow tube, to my understanding, and there's a weld. The only threaded part that the bolt catches is this bottom half 5/8 inch flat bar that runs down through there, and that little 1/2 or 5/8 inch, to my understanding, is the only threads. So I just take the torch and just get that almost glowing red, and I usually flip my oxygen lever over the back so I don't have to worry about accidentally hitting and putting a hole in it. But anyways, you just get that glowing red, hit the impact in reverse, and it's amazing what the heat will do. All 24 of them came out without breaking. Then when I got to the rollers, I really didn't want to heat that many, and my friend and I were talking, and the bolts from the idler groups didn't look that bad, so I just took a breaker bar, and luckily all those came out with. But there was 2 or 3 that was really tight, and I didn't chance it. I just took the torch and did like I did up here, and I just heated it, that flat bar on the bottom where it's threaded. I just heated that till it was red, and was able to get the bolts out. But most of them just came loose, but any of them that I was just pulled on really hard and they gave resistance, I didn't even chance it. I just took the torch and heated it up. Had no problems, got all out. Same thing on these guys up here. Because this one comes through, like my friend said, that top one gets a lot of corrosion. And even worse with that opening there in the cast, all the moisture and stuff gets in. This bottom that's not threaded gets a lot of corrosion. But we took the torch. I think the one that don't come all the way through, I think we were able to get without torch. But both sides, we really heated this up to get out. The other side was actually so hard. We actually drilled on that top 1 inch where it's threaded. We actually drilled a pilot hole all the way down through about that top inch, 1.25 inches, and still heated it. We still followed it, but we were able to get it out without breaking it off. Had all kinds of problems. I wish I would have just went through Burco for everything. I went to the local Komatsu dealer. Everything's aftermarket, Chinese crap. I didn't really price everything around. I just picked the closest vendor and went with what they had. I actually went to turn the rails, pins and bushings, but they were a little too far gone, so I just was already there and thought I'd deal with them. But all this stuff's different, Chinese brands. I mean, none of it's the same brand. They sell you the bottom rollers are one brand, the top's a different, the rails are a different one. They sell you different sprockets. I wish I just would have bought everything through Burco. They've had they swap pads on the rails pretty quick, but doing the bushings and the idler groups, I'm over 3 weeks now, and I was supposed to have them Tuesday, and it took me 3 days to call every day. It took me calling 3 days just for them to tell me. where they are, which I know everybody's busy, but should it really take 3 days of calling to figure out what's going on? But, well, anyways, here's what I wanted to talk about. I'd put Burco sprockets on this before, and I know that these segments aren't that old. I'm gonna go ahead and put new segments on and keep these, so when the new ones get chewed up, I'll put these on. But I'm guessing these are 80-90%. So when they gave me these CR5601, I opened it up and saw this big flat spot, and I was like, that don't look right. And it's not right because it will go on the threads. But there's, you can't really see because of the shadow there, but as soon as it hits the stud on the full diameter, it stops. It stops about 3/8 of an inch from going all the way back. And I'm assuming guys just put impacts on there and hit it down, but the box said D4H, and I told the guy at Komatsu that, and he said that don't mean anything. I was thinking, well, if it fit a 943.2, it'd say 943 on the box. So I went to Wilson Finley, told them what brand I had, said I do not want this brand. They said, no, we don't sell that brand. Drive 180 miles, get home, open it up. Here's the exact same thing Komatsu sold me. I was pissed. They're D4H sprockets. They claim they'll fit at 943 with no altering. They're telling me nobody's ever had this problem before. I just fail to see I'm the only guy that's had any issues. This is an earlier 19Z machine. I'm just not going to take an impact and force it on. Not to mention, if Cat made sprockets like this for loaders, if they wanted dozer sprockets on it, they'd put dozer sprockets on it from the beginning. Although I do like, how much meat's there, but it's not right. That's a D4H number. So then I was mad at Wilson Finley, which I don't know why Finley didn't sell me Burco sprockets. I wasn't searching for the cheapest part I could find. They had Burco posters on every wall, and yet they sell me cheap Korean stuff that fits a D4H. It don't even fit a 943. I told him they're incompetent. He's telling me they're not. I'm like, well, you're selling me a part for one machine that fits another machine. I mean, that's not right. Just sell the right part or tell them to go to Burco or Cat. I mean, so then I got with Industrial Tractor Parts in Atlanta. They ordered the right Burco sprockets. Third dealer I'm working with for parts here. And guy called up and said, you're not going to believe this. Burco, well, I don't think it was Burco, I guess the distributor, they sent the wrong segments. So out of 3 vendors, every single one's ripped me. Made a mistake. And I've had to deal with Yancey Cat to get these. So I've been with 4 vendors now, which Yancey turned those pretty quick. Komatsu's bottom rollers and stuff, they swapped the pads pretty fast, but what a terrible ordeal. I've been down for 4 weeks now, and it's hard to make an income when your machine's sitting here on blocks. And there's nothing you can do about it. There's nothing you can do but wait for parts. It's a bad feeling. But I was just going to share experience about the heating on the bottom. If you have any bolts that are not wanting to come out, I don't know if that helps anybody or not, but seemed to work pretty good for me. I'll do another video with some of the information I found online about some specs and whatnot.